NXT. Okay, I'm going to say this going into soon-to-be heatwave. I don't really have a great amount of interest in this heatwave. Now, are they some... Well, how can I say this? Is there some stuff compelling here? Yes. But is it compelling enough to make me interested? No. Opening, which I believe was the best part of the show for me personally. The street fight between Josh Briggs and Iramura. I'm going to say this. This isn't the greatest... It isn't. This is not the greatest street fight I've seen, especially in Philly. But I'm going to say this. For the rest of the show and what we saw, yes, we got a lot of shock and awe, particularly what happened with well, I'll get to that when it comes to a little bit of Devon Evans getting his clock cleaned a little bit when he gets shoved off the rope. But other than that, it didn't really feel like it was that substantial. It just didn't. But this one at least felt interesting enough to say, okay, Iramura is doing a good job. He's one of the rare Japanese wrestlers we've seen that talks well in English, other than Akira Tozawa, of course. But at least compared to the other Japanese wrestlers that have come to NXT, at least he has been given some level of character. Almost every other one had barely any character or no character at all. But at least I will say with Iramura, when he's working with Josh Briggs, he's had development. He's one of the most developed Japanese characters I have seen in a while. Doesn't mean it's the greatest development, but it is development. And Briggs won here. Now the question is going to be, what are they going to do with Iramura now? Because I don't think it's over, but I don't think after seeing the street fight, excuse me, after seeing the street fight, we should turn away from Iramura. That's what I'm hoping with Shawn Michaels and Paul Levesque. They don't turn away from him, because they have a tendency to do that. He gets his moment, he actually gets over, but it does not mean they continue building him. Even though many people say, oh, of course they'll build him. No. They usually would do this, and then they'll click it down, and click it down, and click it down slowly. Now the problem is, while they're doing it slowly, it gets boring. So I don't know what's going to happen with Iramura. In particular, I don't even know what they're going to do with Josh Briggs. He's already been to the top twice to try and win the title, and he's lost twice. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with him. The only thing I could think of with Josh would be to move him to the main roster at this point, because that's the only thing I could see that's left for him. He's been in NXT for a while. The best option would be for him, literally, to go to the main roster at this point. But this is just me. Next, Ricky Saints versus Joshua Troy. Joshua Troy. I think the reason I'm botching here is that he is a monster, as a Booker T would say. But is he a compelling monster? Because as it stands, what have you done here? You literally put a Ricky Saints, who should be getting built up and getting over, because he's one of the most compelling people on NXT, and you put him with Jasper Troy, a new guy who's just come in, who should be going through every jobber in the company, which is NXT. And he has not. And now you stuck them together. And I'm like, what are they doing here? He went through Uma Femi, which was fine. Then he went through Devon Evans, which was fine. But now you put him with Ricky Saints. And he lost clean. What does this mean? What are we really doing with Jasper Troy? Because honestly, what should have happened, he should be put with other people from the Performance Center, not someone at the caliber of a Ricky Saints. He should have been allowed to keep building up and building up and building up testing him to see how well he can talk. Can he hold a promo? Can he have some type of presence in the back? Why not make him mess with Dark State? That would be good. And I'm sure people can say, well, maybe that's what they're doing. No, it doesn't feel like it. Because if you look at Dark State and what they had with Ava and how they were talking about how great they are, I'm telling you again, and this is the truth, Dark State only works on TNA because they're from another company. If you keep them on NXT, they don't feel important. They don't. The only person that seems somewhat interesting is Cutler. Cutler, who keeps saying the most ridiculous stuff. You better not, we'll be right in your back. We'll be right behind you. And they're saying, why are you saying weird stuff? He's the only compelling person there. Everybody else is not. I don't feel anything except for something from Cutler. The one with the bandana. And I'm like, what the fuck? You give us Dark State, who is a bite-off of the Shield and Nexus. They don't feel important, and the only time when they do feel important is when they're working with TNA. And I think that's where they should be. You should keep sending them to TNA. Let them have feuds there with Order 4. Let them have feuds with the system. Let them have feuds with, well, technically, would it be good to have them with a feud with the Nimitz brothers? I'm not sure. I'm not sure the Nimitz brothers are, at this time, the right people to do it, but it would make some sense to have them do something, because particularly when Bound for Glory comes around, they're not going to be able to get into the main title picture, counting unless the Hardys drop their titles, because they're going to be dealing with the Dudleys. So, I'm just saying. Next, did I think Miles Bourne getting pepper sprayed in the eyes by Alexis King makes sense? Technically it does, because Lexus got his ass cleaned and he just wants to take him out. He tried to be nice at first, and then he says, were you being deaf and blind? He says, no, I'm not blind. And then the pepper spray goes in the eyes. Here's the thing. At this point, Miles Bourne, they're doing this to him, and it's still the same thing. They're playing into his deafness, his disability. Look, I'm telling you here, I'm disabled. I know what it's like to be with a deficiency. Hell, I don't even need to lie about what I was when I was a kid. I'm dyslexic. When I was born in the 1970s, dyslexia had not been understood, and they did not have a diagnosis for that word. I mean, not diagnosis. They didn't even have an idea what dyslexia was. They were still doing experimentations to figure out what it is. And when I was growing up, they thought I was retarded. So I've always been considered disabled, in a sense. They didn't know what to call me. Not until I turned into a teenager did they know, oh, this is dyslexia. This is what the problem is. And then I get this situation with my hip and my back. But I'm like, how far can you stretch this? Look, having him have let's make this clear. When you look at Kenny Omega with his diverticulitis, that's understandable, but there's going to be a point where that is going to get old and they got to move away from it. And the same thing with Miles Bourne. Yes, he is legitimately deaf, and about maybe 80 to 90%, I think he said 90% of his hearing is missing, but he's learned how to compensate. But there's going to be a point where they cannot keep going back to that well over and over and over again. He's got to be moved away from it eventually, and they got to focus on other stuff, because if they just leave it with him in deafness, he's not going to last, and he's out of the company eventually. It's the same thing. Now with Kenny, he had way more things beforehand. Now I'm not going to say it's perfect, but at least he has the story of being a VEP. He was the one who helped found the company. Yes, he's got the diverticulitis. And yes, he could be done at any time. But he has the other parts of New Japan Pro Wrestling. How he dealt with the Bucks. What's going on with Hangman Page. He used to be his tag team partner. So there are avenues for him. But Miles, no. They must eventually move away from this. If they go too long with it, people will get sick of it and he's out of the company. I'm just saying. Next. Let me give you like this. The Summit for Peace. I will say this was funny-ish when it comes to Chelsea Green and Ethan Page versus Tavion Heights and Steels. I'm going to be honest here about Steels. When you saw that segment with her acting the way she was, talking and hyping up Tavion Heights, that looked cringe. It's not about if she can wrestle. It's not about that, guys. Steels must be more than just a freaking wrestler. This is one of the things when she was in LFG. I got that mixed up. I've seen some of it. I saw how she was. She tried to get an idea what it means to be a pro wrestler. But it takes way more than just wrestling to get over. And when you hear how she talked and her attitude, she has no personality right now. She's trying to use her actual self. And legitimately, not feeling it. With Tavion Heights, he's been around long enough and he could use what he's already developed with NQCC to make him get over. But when it comes to Steels, there is nothing there. She's feeding off of what he has. So her attitude, which is legitimately the way she probably is being exaggerated by adding Tavion Heights' own attitude on top of it. She's like taking what Tavion Heights is with her own self, and there you go. And there's nothing there. I'm just saying it. That's the truth. Was it stupid what she said? No. But I'm just telling you this, that at this point, I see nothing from her right now. This is not about if I hate her. This is about what has been presented. And you're going to get, I'm sure people are going to say, dude, she could talk well. Not about talking well. You can be one of the best talkers, but if you can't project personality, forget it. Forget it. Ahmed Johnson, and I'm bringing him up. Ahmed Johnson was a beast. He looked great. But when it came to everything else, there was nothing there. It felt like nothing. So no matter how great he looks, it didn't make a difference. He couldn't hold a promo very well. He couldn't really talk very well. And that's, again, away from promos. He didn't project charisma. He just didn't have it. And right now, I don't see that. She's just taking what Tavion Heights is, along with her own personality. And that's not the way you need to be. Yes, you need your own personality in it, but you must be able to take part of your own personality and make yourself something different. And with Tavion, yes, he ain't great at it, but at least he's had time to develop it, and she don't have any of it. None. And this is not taking away from her in the ring. This is just the honest observation what I got from her. Next. Let me give you like this. The last thing to talk about. Blake Monroe and the Jordan Grace. Did it feel awkward? Particularly when Jordan was talking? Hell yes, it was. I've seen Jordan Grace talk, guys. Understand? The segment Jordan did, I didn't like it. And understand, I've seen her since she first joined Impact Wrestling. And she wasn't a great talker. But when you look at the difference between when she was in Impact Wrestling, how she talked, and now on NXT, she has very awkward pauses. It's like she's trying to remember her lines. And when she was in TNA, Impact Wrestling, she didn't have that type of problem. She was mostly very fluid. It wasn't like she was perfect all the time, but you could feel that there was a rhythm. She's got this. I didn't feel none of that from her. Her promo sucked. I did not like it. And she's always been able to talk very well. but something was off. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just me, but you guys tell me below. How did she seem? Because as far as I can tell, as she was talking, and she's done pauses when she talks, it felt off. I don't know what it was, but that promo did not work. And then Blake, you see I'm getting botchy here because once Blake came out with security, and let's cut to the chase, Jordynne Grace laid out security. She did. The thing was that Blake tried to make it work, but she didn't really have that much lines. Blake had very few lines. It was all Jordynne. And Jordynne felt off. She felt very cringy. This is very strange when I've seen this woman for years. Yes, sometimes she'll botch her words when she does her promos. Sometimes she just doesn't always relay her emotions. That's happened. And all wrestlers do it. But when you are in a situation like she was in, and it was like, it wasn't the fact that she was trying to remember her lines. It just felt like she wasn't buying what she was even talking out of her mouth. Not saying that there wasn't some realism in that. She's made it very clear. She had a problem with her own weight and how she looked. No problem. But it was not right. There was something that was wrong with it, and it fell apart for me personally. Now, did I like this show? Well, I know I haven't done Devon Evans, Trick Williams, about to get to that now. By this point, when I went to Devon Evans and when I went to Trick, I'm like, I like the street fight, but everything else, yeah, Hank and Tank had their moments in the back. Yes, a 6-woman tag. I'm not even going to talk much about the 6-woman tag with Marsha Slamovich. It happened. Marsha Slamovich was the ref. She counted out a Ash of Elegance, and JC James won. And almost forgot, M's boobies popped out. And those were not her real boobies. They were her fake ones. She was wearing fake boobs over her chest. And when JC James decided to do a knee strike to her face, her boobs popped partially out. And she was doing everything she could to shove those suckers down back into a top. I kind of wish that she had realized she may have to sew them into her bra, into her top. But those fake titties, those pads, those suckers popped out. Now, I know, and everybody else knows, M's very pretty. She's a tall, slender girl, very pretty, but she got nothing here. She don't got nothing. And I would have hoped that, yes, when she was in the match, she was fine. And her titties bounced because of the pads that are there. But it would have been more wiser to find a way to make her top like a pocket and sew them into it, so in case of emergency, like that time, her top wouldn't move down and the fake boobs pop up. I'm sure she was so embarrassed. Now, I'm not against her. There are girls that are small-chested that are still gorgeous beyond recognition. But I'm hoping this is a learning lesson for her, that the next time she goes and does any matches, she's going to have those suckers sewn into her top from now on. Any top she has, until she may decide to get a boob job. You never know. And may want to do that. I'm not saying it's the right thing or wrong thing. It's just she may want to do it, like many women in wrestling have done, including Charlotte has done it, and a couple of other women have done it. Look at Nikki Bella. She did it. So you never know who is going to do something like that. But I can say she's not a bad wrestler, but she's got to be prepared in those type of situations. But after that match, I'm going to say this. I wasn't really interested that much. Then we got the Devon Evans and Trick Williams match. The story between Trick, Devon, and Uba Femi has not been a bad one. It's been one of the better ones. I know for a fact the way best story we've had has been, honestly, the D'Angelo family's implosion has been the best story that NXT's had. I'm being honest here. It has been the best story because we had a family that disintegrated. It was the best story they had. And unfortunately, we haven't seen them for a while. Yeah, we've seen Stax deal with a Ariana Grace, but we haven't seen Crucifino, and we definitely have not seen Tony D himself. Now, I don't know if there's taken a break or he's been released. I haven't checked. I don't know. Only thing I do know is that without the D'Angelo family, it's been blank. So when this match happened, and I'm not saying the match was bad, it was okay. But then when you see what happened with Devon Evans, when Trick Williams shoved him and he was supposed to land on the table, but flew well beyond that, hit his head. I'm sorry, he did. He hit his head on the chair, on the edge of the chair. Luckily, it's got a lot of foam on it, so hopefully he was all right. But damn, that was not a good landing he took. He took a brunt of the entire thing. His lower back hit the chair. No, hit the table, not the chair. And then his shoulders and head landed flush to the floor, not counting when his head grazed the chair. That's the truth. Now, of course, Mike Santana came out to mess with Trick Williams because he still wants that damn title, and Trick lost the match. So we will continue having a story between Trick and Mike Santana, which goes to Bound for Glory. Eventually, we will be going there. But honestly, when you look at the show, I just like the street fight. Everything else really wasn't that compelling. Yet, there were some good matches, and I'm even going to say, what about the culling? Dealing with the NQCC, or at least what's left of it. I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with it. Yes, you're going to have a match between Izzy Dane, I don't know why they're doing that. Why is Ren Sinclair going to have a 2-on-1 handicap match with Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dane? I don't know what that's going to lead to. Is it going to lead to the implosion of what's left of the NQCC? I know you're going to say, well, what about Joe Henry and with Dark State? Honestly, he feels random. That's how he feels. So trying to keep him relevant. That's what it feels like. So this show really for me was just, I like the street fight. That's it. But I hope you enjoyed this. This NXT review. Please give me a comment below. Peace.